guys, how you doing?
Wow, thanks, Dave.
Yeah, it's one of my songs to play with one of my bands.
Dave plays with a band here locally, and they've played. I mean, you guys have done some national stuff.
Done some touring.
But
stuff.
the band's name is Yucca, Y-U-C-A, Yucca.ca.
Yeah, check out the
you
website.
can check out more of their music. So
Cool.
Great band, good stuff.
Thanks, man.
I actually heard you. I actually got to hear you.
Yeah, we're getting better every time. Now we both got in ears, so we can both hear each other. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. So for those of you that don't know what we do, we are doing live lessons every Tuesday.
Yep.
And today's topic, we're talking about hand to feet combinations around the kit. We try to tailor them to as many different skill levels as possible. So yeah, with that said, this one's probably more intermediate style, something like that. But
what we're gonna do? Yeah, what we're gonna do is. Oh, sorry. Continue.
No, you. Why'd you interrupt me?
Well, because I thought you were done.
Okay. Are you ready to talk now?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Go ahead.
What we're gonna do is Jared's gonna do single pedal hand to feet combos,
Yes.
and I'm gonna do double pedal hand to feet combos, just to show you that you can do both with single and double pedals.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Okay, so I have a couple of things here that I just wanted to go over. Later on in the lesson, I'm doing a little mini contest where I'm going to give away some cash, kind of like musician's friend, or credits to our drum DVD or drummer store. And so you guys will have a chance to win more free stuff by doing a simple thing like playing a drum beat. So it's going to be really easy and be really fun. And yeah, okay, so let's maybe go right into the lesson. Hey?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so the sheet music is available in the freedrumlessons.com drum forums. Go to freedrumlessons.com/drum-forums and then click on general drumming, and you'll see the thread right there at the top that says hand to feet combinations. Okay, and yeah, so basically I'm just going to slowly go through these 5 exercises here, and then I'm going to play the bonus one for you at the end later on after Dave's done his stuff. So let's talk about number 1. This is basically just giving you an overview of what a hand-to-feet combination is in this case. Basically, it's just a combination of notes between your hands and your feet. In this case, I'm just doing a single pedal. So this one is basically starts in the low tom, high tom, and then bass drum. Low tom, high tom, bass drum. And it's played as 16th note triplets. You won't hear the 16th note triplets in there right now when I'm just playing on its own, but I'll play it for you within a beat and use it as a fill. So check this out. Oh, first I want to make sure, can you guys hear us? Can you hear what I'm saying? Hello? Can you hear me? Am I too quiet? We always have people say, oh, we're too quiet afterwards, so. Yeah? Louder? Sounds good? Oh, whatever. Okay. Turn me up a little bit, maybe. And hopefully I'm not fuzzing. Okay, so like I said, let's go on to this first one. It goes right hand on the floor tom, left hand on the high tom, and then bass drum. Okay? And then it ends on beat 4 with a flam shot on the snare. So let me play it for you. Okay? Okay, so that's a simple thing. It probably sounds harder than it actually is. It's a really easy fill to play. What are they saying over here? Monkeys are all looking at the screen. Is that good? Okay, so now let me play it as a beat. Okay, so it's simple. That is exercise number 1. But so for you guys, well, you need to just take it to your kit and just play it really slowly, okay? So just like right, left, bass, right, left, bass. You know, and then start to speed it up as you go, and eventually you can get it going really fast. So, simple. Okay, the next one is the same thing. Beat number 2 is, or exercise number 2 is the same thing, except I'm adding the snare on beats 2. And we're ending it the same with the flam. However, I'm also going to show you how to just play it constantly. And so it's the same thing, just like that, but let's add the snare drum on beats 2. Okay, and now I'm going to play it exactly as it's written, just as a 1-bar thing. Yeah. Whoops. Okay, so you got it. Now I'm going to play it within a fill. Okay, and now I'm going to show you a little trick that I used when I first started practicing these, because I heard these famous drummers doing these crazy sounding fast drum solos and stuff, and I was like, man, how do those guys get it to sound so fast? And once I figured out it was hand to feet combinations, I started practicing it, and it was just taking forever. And so what I finally found out is just a little bit of a, I guess you could call it a shortcut. I don't know, it's not necessarily a shortcut, but it was, like earlier on I told you to practice it really slow, but I'd also recommend try and practice it really, really fast. And basically what I do is just do a flam and a bass drum. So, and then eventually as you get fast enough, it'll all mold into one continuous pattern. When you're doing it slow, it won't make any sense. There, it doesn't sound like anything. But as soon as you speed it up, it starts sounding more and more like those fast, continuous patterns that we want. Something that just kind of flows nicely. So definitely try that, but also practice it slow and make sure everything's sounding nice and clean. My bass drum pedal's coming off here. Oh, it's loose. Okay. Next one is basically a straight 16th note triplets, and then it goes 2 bass drums, high tom, 2 bass drums, low tom. So let me just play it for you. So that's the pattern. Yeah, so that's simple. Just practice that, take it to your kit. There's not really any tips I can give you on that. Practice your single strokes, because obviously that kind of goes hand in hand with developing hand to feet combination. Okay, next one, number 4, is one of my favorites. And it's using 30-second notes. And so you want to make sure if you do practice this as a fill, you play your beat really slowly. It's just so you're able to actually play it within context. But for starters, just practice it on its own. Okay? I'll show you exactly how it sounds. Okay, and then from there, you could actually start moving the groups of 4s that I'm doing on the snare around the kit. So something like this. Yeah, so that's definitely one of my favorites. You guys got to for sure try that. Okay, and then number 5 is one I actually get asked a lot about, but it's similar to the other ones, but we're basically me alternating our hands. So I'm just going to play it really slowly for you, okay? So it's basically 2 bass drums, and then right, left. And then another 2 bass drums, and then left, right. It's one thing I forgot to write in the sheet music there. So you're not actually crossing over and doing right, left. So. This is one thing I saw in Aaron Spears' new DVD. He uses it a lot in his gospel drumming. He plays on like the American Idol show tours and stuff like that, and the guy can seriously haul on drums. So now I'm going to play it for you faster and just continuous, so not exactly how it's written. So once you got that, I mean, take it on the kit. You can do it anyway. You can kind of put it on the hi-hat, or so. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Okay, I've written 5 here, and we actually had to trim it down quite a bit because I could have kept on writing and writing. Like we could seriously do a whole product on just like hand-to-feet combinations because there's hours and hours of material. But yeah, those are the 5 single pedal ones that I recommend if you want to start studying hand-to-feet combinations and you're kind of like beginner intermediate level. Those are where you need to start. So definitely practice those. It gives you a wide range of note values, and you can transfer it from the 32nd ones. You can play as 16th notes if you want, and the 16th-note triplet ones you can just play as regular 8th-note triplets. So there you go. What do you think, Dave?
Those are awesome.
Yeah?
One thing that I like is they're all in single pedal. Now,
Yeah.
a lot of people are saying that, yeah, I can play it on double pedal, but if you actually practice it with your single pedal, it'll open up so many more doors because you never know when you're going to be at a gig where there's only a single pedal. Plus, it's always good to strengthen your single pedal anyway. So
Yeah, and I'll occasionally when I'm doing stuff like that, it gives you the option to splash the hi-hats or open the hi-hats with your kick drum, like just on all the quarter notes.
Yeah.
And which adds another dimension to that fill. And so it's definitely something you'd want to practice. Obviously, once you get to a certain speed, you just can't do it anymore. You need 2 pedals.
yeah, exactly.
That's where you come in.
This is where I come in for the double pedal section. First thing, I got a question for you, Jared.
Yeah, let's go.
What kind of food do drummers like to eat?
What kind of food?
Yeah, do drummers like to eat?
Drummers like to eat.
Come on, it's pretty easy.
Oh, I don't know.
Beets.
You're so stupid.
I saw it on there. Everybody was posting the joke. So anyway, so let's get to the double pedal.
Hey, you know what though, Dave? I hate beets. My wife made beet
know.
salad the other day, and I didn't eat anything. She was so mad at me. She
You gotta
made
watch
it.
out with that.
She spent all day boiling beets or doing whatever they do. She's probably watching now.
Yep,
Yes,
you're
I
in
am
trouble.
married.
You're in the doghouse. Jared, you married? Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me let me go with the double
I had
pedal
another
beats and
joke
fills.
there for you. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Yeah.
Dude, go ahead. It's
No. It's seriously, it's a bad joke.
Yeah, couldn't be.
NSFW, not safe for work.
Okay, let's go on. Let's just pop up number 7 there, Jeff. I mean, Monkey Jeff.
Don't say.
Pop up beat number.
Give away their identities.
Monkey number 3, can you pop up beat number 7? So this one here, it's very similar to a lot of the beats that you've been seeing us do, because they're all very well, they're all very similar actually. It's just different variations of 4s and 2s and 3s and 5s and stuff like that. So this one here is just going to be a basic pattern of 4 on the bass drum and then 4 with your sticks. Now the way I've notated it out, you're going to be moving around your kit with your snare and your toms. You can keep it on one drum to practice. In fact, I would actually recommend you practicing just doing 4 on your kick, 4 on your sticks, 4 on your kick, 4 on your sticks. So you don't move around yet, just practice the basic pattern. And that actually just sounds very basic like this. So when you start developing that kind of a sense of timing where you got 4 on your kick, 4 on your snare, then you can start moving it around the kit. Now, if you noticed on number 7, you'll see I start on the snare, and I just basically go all the way around the drums. And I'm going to do snare with my right hand, first tom with my left hand, second tom with my right hand again, and then my low tom again with my left hand. So you want to make sure you don't hit yourself when you go to your low tom, but it's actually not that bad. I mean, crossing over is a lot more difficult. So let's just give this a try. We'll start slow and kind of speed it up here. You'll also notice when I go at really slow tempos, it's sometimes harder to keep my left and right feet going solid tempo, which is why sometimes I'll even just use single pedal for slower tempos. But that's basically the pattern. I'll show you in a couple different fills, and you can see how it sounds here. So yeah, there's number 7. Pretty straightforward. Let's go for number 8. You want to pop that one up there? 8 is where it starts getting a little bit tricky because you're going to experiment with a pattern of 4 on the bass drum and 4 on the snare. Then you're going to see I move into triplets, so it's going to be 6 on the bass drum and 6 on the snare. Now, one thing you'll notice with the way a lot of people count these patterns out when you're getting into double bass is you like to count out the number of times you hit it. So although you can see triplets on here, I still like to count 6 and 6, or 4 and 4, or 4 and 8. And that's just the way that I like to count it. A lot of people agree with me on that. It's just easier, so you can keep a better mental memory of what kind of patterns you're actually playing. But let me show you how this one sounds. It's basically 4 on the bass drum, 4 on the snare, then you're going to do 16-note triplets on the bass drum and 16-note triplets on the snare. So I'll start it really slow, and we'll go from there. So I'll speed it up a little bit for you. So let's play this in a beat so you can kind of get some groove to it here.
Dave, one thing I see there is you're hitting the hi-hat on beat 3 once you start the 16-note triplets. Is that something just like a reference for you?
Actually, I was actually going to explain that a little bit further on there. What I like to do is when you're just playing bass drum and snare patterns or bass drum and tom patterns, sometimes it gets a little bit dry. So what I like to do is I like to sometimes add some crashes in every now and then. It also works as a reference point for you, so you can kind of mentally know, okay, well, now I'm going to triplets, or now I'm going to go to, or even if you're doing, say, a group of 8, sometimes it's a lot of bass drum notes, so you want to get some sort of reference as to where the quarter note is. So that's another reason why I do it, but mainly it just makes it sound a lot better, I guess. If you could put some cymbals in there, it makes it sound less dry. But once you start getting to know the difference and start feeling the difference between the 8th notes, or sorry, the 16th notes and the 16-note triplets, you can start moving them around the tom. So instead of just doing it all on the snare drum, try breaking up the beat all over the toms and add some cymbals in. So that sounds like this. So just by adding some cymbals in, it makes it sound a lot more difficult when actually really it's not. So
Cool.
yeah, so let's go on to the next one there. Beat number 9. This one, you'll see that I'm using 30-second notes. So do not...
Oh, this one's written wrong.
Number 9 is?
Yeah. Okay, just so you guys know.
Oh yeah, it totally is.
It's supposed to be like beat 4. That's what happens when we do it last minute. Yeah, just explain that.
Yeah, so what I have on here
Such
is
hacks.
yeah, 30-second notes. And if you notice on the bass drum, on the bass drums and all the bass drums there, you'll see that there's not alternating left and right. It's just all left bass drum. So don't worry about that. Obviously alternate. If you can see on the last repetition, you can see it's notated right. So just transfer that up there. We'll re-upload that once we've corrected it. But anyway, it's 30-second notes. So don't start this one too fast, or you'll wind up not being able to keep up with yourself. And basically, it's the same kind of beat as the number 7 that we did, where it's 4 on the bass drum and 4 on the snare. But this time we're just doing more groups of those and moving them around the drums. So I'll show you how that sounds, and then I'll play it into beat for you. So.
Wow. Okay, you got to explain how you got it that clean.
How I got it that clean, it's honestly what I would do is I would go home and I would just put on the metronome at a certain tempo, whatever you're comfortable at, and I would go back and forth from 4 on the floor, or 4 on the bass drum, and 4 on the tom. 4 on the bass drum, 4 on the snare. 4 on the bass drum, 4 on even the hi-hats or whatever. I would just practice nonstop doing 4 and 4. And then I would practice doing 8 and 8. And then I would practice doing 12 and 12. And then I would mix it up. So that's all I would do, and I would do it for about 20 minutes at a time, just... So just practice that, because all it is the repetition between 4, 4, and all around the drum set. Yeah. One tricky thing you're going to notice about this, and I notated it like this specifically, at the very end of the pattern here, you're already playing your left bass drum. So the pattern actually ends with your bass drum. So a lot of times when you're bringing this, say you're playing this in a fill and you want to bring it back into a beat, you usually crash your beat back into it. Problem with this is your feet are already doing a fast group of 4 at the end. So what you need to do is you need to remember that the last group of 4, you're going to hit an extra bass and drum note in order to crash the beat back in. So let me show you kind of what I mean by that. So you notice at the very end of that, I had to crash back in. That's the only thing that's a little bit tricky. But once you actually start developing your feet and you actually crash right on the bass drum note, you should have no problem with it. The last one's a little bit sloppy, but you get the picture.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's move on. Let's go to number 10, if you want to pop number 10 up. And like I was saying before, how I would develop these is I would just start practicing groups of 4 and 4. Well, I thought, well, why not practice groups of 3 and 3? So what I would end up doing is I would practice triplets on my bass drum, and I would go 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and so forth. And again, you can start just by playing it on the snare drum, so you don't have to move around the kit. Just make sure you're developing your triplet count there. So let me show you how this sounds slow, and then I'll kind of speed it up for you.
one question I have: when you're doing that, you are not alternating hands. So you're going, especially when that gets really fast. Would it be hard for your right hand to keep up, or do you recommend alternating hands, so going right, left, and then left, right, left?
I practiced it both ways. I prefer doing it with my left or right hand all the time leading, just because that way I can, it gives me some sort of reference to where I am in the actual beat. The only tricky thing to that, you brought up a good point, is when you're done this pattern and you want to crash it back into your beat, you're left with your right hand on the bass drum, or the floor tom, sorry. So you actually have to crash with your right hand.
Left hand.
Or start with your left hand. Or you can also start with your left hand and end with your left hand. Then you can crash with that.
Cool.
So I'll kind of show you what I mean by that. By crashing, watch when I crash back into the beat, I'll crash with my left hand. So that's the only tricky part to this pattern. But okay, so the last one, number 11, if you want to pop up number 11. This one here is similar to number 9. It's just an alternating 30-second note pattern on your bass drum and your snare. Now this one, you can see I actually notated crash cymbals in there, and that's to give your bass drum pattern, so it's not just a driving bass drum pattern, it actually has something else going on there. It also gives you reference to where you are in the pattern of 8, and then you follow that right up with 8 strokes on the snare drum. So I'll show you how that sounds. This pattern is actually really cool because it gives people a chance to hear just the bass drum, so they know that, oh wow, there's a thumping going on there. That's not your toms, or it's not your snare. Kind of show off your footwork a bit. So here's how it sounds. I'll do it a little bit slower for you here. And I'll speed it up right through. And this was what it sounds like in a fill.
Cool.
Yeah, so there are some ideas just for some double bass patterns with doing hand-to-feet combinations. One thing I also like to do, I like to just do single stroke rolls on my double bass, alternating either 16th notes or 32nd notes or even 60-note triplets. And what I like to do is mess around with different rudiments with your hands over top of that. Now, I have one beat, Monkey, if you want to pop up number 12.
Now, they don't even have this, right?
They don't have this on the sheet music, but this, like I say, me and Jared we kept writing different patterns, and like I say, we could have done a whole week just on this kind of stuff. So here's one of the examples that I came up with, and what it is all I'm doing is alternating 16th notes on my bass drum, and I'm playing a paradiddle with my left and right hands. And you can do it in a beat, you can incorporate it into a fill, but it's a great way to just kind of increase your coordination, I guess you can say, and independence, and it makes you more aware of being able to put in the bass drum pattern wherever, or the double bass whenever you're doing just basic beats or basic fills. It just adds more dynamic. So I'll show you what that looks like, and I guess I'll just do it on the, I have a crash cymbal, I don't know, I have no ride. I think I notated it on the ride, but I'll do it on the bell.
Do it on the floor tom too.
Yeah, I'll move it around the kit. So.
Okay.
So you can see I'm just moving all around the drums. I have no real set pattern that I'm doing. All I'm doing is a single paradiddle, and I have a constant 16th note roll going on with my bass drum, and I'm just moving all around the kit. You can do the same thing with double paradiddle. Just change it to a triplet kind of feel, and it'll sound like... So just experiment, because all you need to do is start working on your coordination and your independence. Just pick a rudiment, do a solid roll, and kind of experiment around the kit with it.
Yeah,
just cool little ideas.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, now I'm going to play a track. This track is from Mike McCalco's drumming system, and it's available at drummingsystem.com. We have to plug something. And yeah, so this is one of the play-alongs, kind of like more of a classic rock feel. So I'm going to play this play-along track, and then after that, I'm going to introduce to you the mini little contest we're going to do, and I'm also going to play that bonus beat number 6 for you guys. So stick around, because within another 5-10 minutes, we're going to have all the information for you. I'll let you, Monkey, I'll let you know. Okay, hit it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't heard it played.
One
like
of my
that.
favorites from the drumming system, definitely. Kind of like an old classic rock feel, but really slow. I think it's like at 60 beats per minute or something. Maybe one of the monkeys can tell me. No, they don't know how to read.
They don't know how to read.
Okay. Okay. Okay, now I want to introduce this competition for you, okay?
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, it's from the sheet music. The sheet music is available in the Free Drum Lessons forums, the general drumming section, okay? So if you're watching this video after the fact, you have to go to the general drumming section and download the sheet music. It's in the hand-to-feet combinations topic. It's right at the top. It's really easy to find. And basically, what the competition is you need to play this beat, film yourself doing it, put it on YouTube, and email me the link, okay, of your video. The first person to email me the link of them playing this video at more than 100 beats per minute, okay, so you don't have to play with a metronome, but it has to be at faster than 100 beats per minute. The first 3 people to do that, I'm going to email you a $50 gift certificate to Musician's Friend, okay? So we're giving out $150 in gift certificates. 3 people will win. Each of you get $50.
You can also use it for drummerstore.com too.
Yeah, you can use it for our stuff too. If you don't want anything at Musician's Friend, if you'd prefer some high-quality drum DVDs.
Nice. Hey,
okay.
Also posted on the forums too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I'll get all the submissions, but like I said, the first 3 people. Okay, one more thing that you guys have to do, and please remember this, otherwise your video will not qualify. In the title of your video, it needs to say freedrumlessons.com. Okay, that's a little plug for our website. It's a little marketing trick. Hopefully you keep that video up there, and then other people will watch you playing this cool beat, and they'll come to our site. And so,
Sweet.
Yeah, it's just a marketing little thing. So I'm going to play this beat for you. I just worked it out yesterday, and so I'm not super fast at it yet. I don't even know. I haven't even timed myself. I don't know if I can play it more than 100 beats per minute. But basically what it is, it's just a single paradiddle between the right foot and the right hand. Your left hand is on beats 2 and 4, and then your hi-hat is playing eighth notes. Okay, so I'm just going to play it piece by piece for you. First, I'm just going to play the bass drum and the floor tom. It starts with the Okay, now I'm going to add the snare drum on beats 2 and 4. Okay, and now I'm going to add the hi-hat in on eighth notes. Okay?
Nice.
So the first person to film themselves, the first 3 people that film themselves playing that beat, upload to YouTube, put freedrumlessons.com in the title, and email me, jared@railroadmedia.com, JARED@railroadmedia.com. Is it on screen, monkey? There you go. Okay, take that down. First 3 people to email me, you get $50. Simple as that.
Nice.
And okay, so I think that's it. That's that competition. Now we just want to take some questions, right? That's what's on the list here?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not, instead of giveaways today, I'm doing that little contest. So we're not going to be giving anything else away other than $150 to Musician's Friend or the Drummer Store.
So any questions anybody has about maybe...
Yeah, any questions about the competition or any questions about what we did today? How much for KC Drums? You need to go to kcdrums.com.
Yeah.
Okay? These drums are awesome. Jason from KC Drums, I have him scheduled to be here on February 16th. So he's going to come in, and we're not going to talk about his drums. We're just going to talk about buying drums in general and what to look for and stuff like that. He's a super nice guy, super knowledgeable, knows tons about drums, and he makes really good drums, which is awesome. Any other questions here? I don't understand the notation with the back-to-back dots and the notation for the competition.
I'm trying to look at that here.
The back-to-back, the back-to-back dots, that means you're hitting those 2 things on the same beat. So the snare drum and the floor tom both land on the same beat together. That's all that means. And then the hi-hat is on the bottom line, okay? And that's with your foot. And then the bass drum and the floor tom.
Because they're right above each other, they don't really fit too well. That's why it puts them back to back. So
yeah. How elevated is your throne? My throne is set up so my legs are just angled slightly downwards. Okay, so that's how my legs are to the floor. They're not like this, just slightly downwards.
What is a good double bass pedal for a poor bloke?
Check out the double bass pedal reviews video. We did a couple weeks back. Go to youtube.com/freedrumlessons and you'll see, or double bass pedal reviews. I'm sure if you Google double bass pedal reviews or do a search in YouTube, you'll find our video. It's like an hour and a half of reviews and double pedals, stuff to look for, and all the most affordable ones are in there that we found. What do we got here? You don't have software to do the title? You don't need software. It's just the YouTube. You guys upload it to YouTube, man. Yes, if you come for the BC Olympics, hit me up. We'll go to dinner for sure. CJS 033. Let's do it. Some free lessons for you.
Is there any? Sorry. Is there any more questions about the actual beats here, or some of the patterns we've done in general?
Any more questions? See, we're playing pasty cymbals. Okay, if the fastest guy can only do 99 BPM, then nobody gets a prize. Simple as that. But I'm sure somebody will be able to do it at 100 beats a minute. It's going to force you to practice. If you want free cash, it's like $50, free money. All you have to do is film yourself playing. You just kind of have to practice.
Just take it one limb at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically it, right?
That's what I did. I mean, I wrote the beat, and then I came and I had to practice it. And so it's difficult. And you see, I wasn't even playing it that fast, but it's definitely doable. Yes, I love polar bears.
I think there's no more questions.
Okay, no more questions about the beat. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for coming out. Next week, we're doing this lesson at the same time. If you have any questions, hit me up. My email, jared@railroadmedia.com. I'm happy to answer any questions you have related to drums, anything, whether you're a customer of mine or not, whether you're a viewer or not, whether you hate me or love me, I don't really care. Just email me, and we can talk. But yeah, thanks so much. Thanks, Dave. You did great today, man.
Oh no, you did.
You
great,
did better
Jay.
than normal.
You did.
Normally
great
you're not so good, but today you were really good.
I know.
Okay, Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
See you
All
guys
right?
later. Yeah.
Bye-bye.